I still remember
It's
the
a
day I
deal.
handed in the keys.
Agreed.
It was a
We're
bright
in.
Tuesday morning in spring.
Here are the
The sun
keys
was
and
warm on my face,
documents.
but inside my
Thank you.
chest, everything felt cold. I stood on the wide front steps of a house most people only see in magazines. White columns, tall windows, a driveway lined with roses I'd paid someone to plant just for him. In my hand were two things: a small gold keyring shaped like a house, and a bank statement
It's a
showing $2
deal.
million now sitting in
Agreed.
his name.
We're in.
I looked at my younger
Here
brother,
are the
Jamal.
keys and
He was 41 years
documents.
old, but looked
Thank you.
55. Thin, tired.
It's a
His
deal.
coat was too big, the
Agreed.
kind you wear when
We're
you've been
in.
sleeping in shelters and
Here
under
are the
bridges for 3
keys and
winters. His
documents.
eyes, those
Thank
same
you.
eyes I used to look into when we were kids hiding under blankets during thunderstorms, were wide and shining. "I can't believe this," he whispered. His voice cracked. "You're really giving me all this?" I nodded. I tried to smile. "Yeah," I said. "It's yours now. Start over. Make it right." He hugged me so tight I could feel his ribs. He cried against my shoulder like a little boy again. I held him and told myself this was the moment everything would change. I believed it with my whole heart. That was 4 years ago. Today, he's standing at my front gate again. Same thin coat, same tired eyes. But this time he isn't smiling. This time he's crying for a different reason, and he's asking for help, again. I don't know if I can give it. I don't even know if I should, because everything I gave him, the house, the money, the fresh start, disappeared, gone, all of it. And I still don't fully understand how. If you've ever loved someone who kept breaking your trust, but you kept hoping anyway, stay with me. This is what really happened. But before I tell you the rest, I need you to promise me one thing. Don't judge him too quickly, and don't judge me either, because the truth is more painful than you think. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the little apartment we grew up in, to the nights we promised each other we'd never end up like our father. Keep watching. You'll see how one decision changed both our lives forever. But what happened next, nobody could have predicted, not even me. If this part touched you, let me know in the comments. I'll share part 2 next, where I tell you who we really were, and why I decided to give him everything. Let me take you back. Way back, before the mansion,
It's a
before the
deal.
$2 million,
Agreed.
before the
We're in.
begging at my gate.
Here are the keys
We grew up
and
in a small
documents.
2-bedroom apartment on the
Thank you.
3rd floor of a building that always smelled like someone was frying onions. The paint on the walls was peeling in long strips, like old skin. The windows rattled every time a truck went by on the street below. But to us kids, it was home. I was the older one, Marcus, 5 years older than Jamal. Our mother worked double shifts at the hospital, cleaning floors, changing sheets, smiling at patients, even when her feet were bleeding inside her shoes. She came home smelling like bleach and tired hope. She never complained, not once. Our father, he was different. He was charming when he wanted to be. He could make you laugh until your stomach hurt. He'd tell stories about the big house he was going to buy us one day. "Soon," he'd say, winking. "Real soon." But the money never stayed. He drank it, gambled it, lent it to friends who never paid back. Then one night, he didn't come home. I was 12. Jamal was 7. Mom sat us down at the kitchen table, the one with the wobbly leg we propped up with old phone books. She folded her hands tight. Her knuckles were white. "He's gone," she said quietly, "for good this time." Jamal started crying right away. Loud, scared sobs. I didn't cry. I just stared at the table, tracing the scratches with my finger. I felt something inside me go very still, like a door closing and locking forever. From that day, I became the man of the house. Not because I wanted to, because there was no one else. I got my first job at 13, stocking shelves
a
at the corner
deal.
store after school.
Agreed.
I gave
We're
every
in.
dollar to Mom. She
Here
tried
are
to
the
refuse
keys
sometimes.
and
"You're still a
documents.
boy," she'd say,
Thank you.
but I'd push the money into her hand anyway.
It's a deal.
Jamal was different.
Agreed.
He was
We're
soft,
in.
sensitive.
Here are
He
the
felt
keys
everything
and
deeper than most people.
documents.
When
Thank
Mom
you.
cried at night, thinking we couldn't hear,
It's a
he'd
deal.
crawl into my bed and
Agreed.
whisper,
We're
"Is she
in.
okay?" I'd
Here are
lie
the
and say
keys
yes.
and
I'd hold him until he
documents.
fell asleep.
Thank you.
We made promises under those thin blankets. "We'll never be like Dad," I told him one night. "Never," he whispered back. "We'll take care of Mom. We'll make sure she never works another double shift. Yeah, and we'll have a big house one day, with a yard and dogs, and no one will ever leave. That last promise, we said it so many times it felt like magic, like if we repeated it enough, it would stick. Mom got sick when I was 19. Cancer. It came fast and mean. She fought hard, but the hospital bills piled up like snow in winter. She passed away in her sleep one February morning. The room was quiet, except for the sound of the oxygen machine clicking off. I was holding her hand. Jamal was curled up at the foot of the bed, face buried in the blanket. We buried her on a gray day. Not many people came. A few nurses who loved her, and an old neighbor who brought flowers from her own garden. After the funeral, Jamal looked at me with red eyes. What do we do now? I didn't have an answer, so I just hugged him. I finished community college on loans and night classes. Got a job in insurance. Boring, steady, good benefits. I climbed slowly, promotion after promotion. I saved every extra dollar. I bought a small house, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Paid off in 12 years. Jamal, he tried. He really did. He worked different jobs, delivery driver, warehouse security guard, but something always went wrong. A boss who didn't like him, a paycheck that bounced, a car that broke down. He'd call me crying sometimes. I messed up again, Marcus.
Agreed.
It's okay, I'd say. We'll fix it. I sent money. I'd paid his rent more times than I can count. I told myself it was temporary, that he'd find his way.
Agreed.
He started drinking. Not
Here are
like
the
Dad.
keys
At
and
least that's what I told
documents.
myself. Just
Thank
enough to take the edge off. Then more.
It's a deal.
Then too much.
Agreed.
He lost jobs,
We're in.
lost apartments, lost
Here are the
friends.
keys and
One winter he
documents.
called me from a payphone.
Thank you.
His voice was shaking. I'm outside, Marcus. It's cold. Can I stay just one night? I let him in. He stayed 6 months. I tried to help him get clean. I paid for rehab once. He left after 3 days. Said it wasn't for him. The second time, I drove him there myself. Held his hand in the parking lot. You can do this, I told him. He looked at me with those big, scared eyes. I'm scared I'll fail you again. You won't, I said. But he did. He walked out on day 5. After that, he drifted. Shelters, friends' couches, streets. I'd see him sometimes, standing on corners, coat too thin, asking for change. I'd give him what I had, then more. Then I stopped going to those corners, because it hurt too much to see. I built a life, a good one, a wife, Lena, a daughter, Amara, who's 8 now and looks just like Mom when she smiles, a house with a yard, 2 dogs, the kind of life Jamal and I used to dream about under the blankets. I thought about him every day, every single day. Then one afternoon, 4 years ago, I got a call. It was the hospital. Jamal had been brought in. Hypothermia, malnutrition, alcohol poisoning. They didn't know if he'd make it through the night. I drove there shaking. When I walked into that room and saw him lying there, tubes in his arms, face gray, eyes closed, I broke. I sat by his bed and cried like I hadn't since Mom died. I talked to him even though he couldn't hear me. I can't lose you too, I whispered. I can't. He woke up 2 days later, weak, ashamed. I'm sorry, he kept saying. I'm so sorry. I held his hand.
Deal.
No more sorry, I told
Agreed.
him. This
We're in.
time, we do it different.
Here are the
That's when I made the
keys and
decision.
documents.
I had saved a lot over the years.
Thank you.
Investments did well. The house was paid
It's a
off.
deal.
I had more than enough.
Agreed.
So I sold
We're
some
in.
stocks, liquidated
Here
a
are
few
the
things.
keys
I
and
bought the mansion
documents.
outright. Big,
Thank you.
beautiful, in a quiet neighborhood. 6
It's a
bedrooms,
deal.
a pool, a
Agreed.
view of trees that turn
We're in.
gold in fall. I set up
Here are
the bank
the
account.
keys and
$2 million.
documents.
Clean, no
Thank you.
strings. I told Lena my plan. She looked at me
Don't
for a long
worry,
time.
the rain
You
will
sure about
pass
this?
soon.
She asked quietly.
It's
No, I
scary.
said,
Can
but I
we
have to
stay
try.
like
She
this?
nodded.
Of
She hugged me.
course,
Whatever
we'll be
happens,
safe
I'm with you.
together.
I brought Jamal home from the hospital. He saw the house for the first time. His mouth opened. No sound came out. This is yours, I said. All of it. The house, the money, a new beginning. He cried so hard he couldn't stand. I held him on those wide front steps. I won't let you down, he whispered against my shoulder. I swear. I believed him. God help me, I believed him. But promises, sometimes they're not strong enough. Sometimes people break them, and sometimes we let them. That was the beginning, the part that still hurts the most, because for a little while, it felt like we won, like we beat the past. But the past, It has long arms, and it reached for him again. Keep watching, because what happened next changed everything. If this part hit close to home, drop a heart in the comments. Part 3 is coming, where the first cracks started to show. The little things I ignored, the warnings I didn't want to see. Stay with me. It gets harder from here, but there's light at the end. For the first few months, everything looked perfect. Jamal moved into the mansion like a man stepping into a dream he never thought he'd have. He called me every day at first. Marcus, the pool is so blue it doesn't look real. Man, the kitchen has 2 ovens. 2. Who needs 2 ovens? I slept in a different room every night just to try them all out. I laughed on the phone. I could hear the joy in his voice. Real joy. The kind we hadn't heard since we were kids, waiting for Christmas that never came big. Lena and I drove over on weekends sometimes. We'd sit on the big patio, watch Amara chase butterflies across the grass. Jamal would grill burgers, badly, but with so much pride. He'd wear a clean shirt every time. Ironed. He looked healthy. His eyes were clear. His hands didn't shake anymore. One Sunday he pulled me aside while Lena and Amara were inside looking at the fish tank. "Bro," he said quietly, "I got a sponsor from the meetings. He's a good guy, retired mechanic, says he'll take me to work with him if I stay clean 90 days. I hugged him right there on the lawn. Tears came without warning. "I'm proud of you," I told him, and I meant it with every bone in my body. He made it to 90 days, then 6 months, then a full year. He started working part-time at the mechanic shop. Nothing fancy, just oil changes, tire rotations. But he came home with grease under his nails and a paycheck in his pocket. Small, but his. He opened up a little savings account, showed me the app on his phone. "Look, $200 already. I'm gonna build it slow, no rush." I cried in the car on the way home that day. Happy tears, the kind you don't expect after so many years of worried ones. I thought, maybe this time it really stuck. But looking back now, there were signs, small ones, the kind you brush off because you want the story to keep being good. Like the way he'd sometimes disappear for a day or two. He'd text, helping a friend move, or had to run an errand for the shop. I'd ask later. He'd smile. Nothing big, all good. I believed him. Like how the house started to feel less lived in. Not messy exactly, just empty in places. The big living room with the leather couches still looked showroom new. He didn't watch TV much, didn't have people over, said he was keeping it simple, focusing on himself. I told myself that was healthy, boundaries, healing. Then came the first real crack. About 18 months in, I got a call from the bank. Not his bank, mine, a fraud alert. Someone had tried to use my card for a wire transfer. Big amount. The bank caught it, no harm done. But when they read the attempted transfer details, my stomach dropped. The receiving account belonged to Jamal. I didn't say anything right away. I waited until the next weekend visit. We were sitting on the patio again, sun going down, crickets starting. I looked at him. "Did you try to move money from my account?" He froze, just for a second. Then he laughed. Too quick, too loud. "Man, what? No way. Must be a glitch or something." I watched his face, the way his eyes darted to the side. "Jamal," he sighed, put his head in his hands. "Okay, yeah, I did. But listen." My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "It was a one-time thing," he said fast. "I got in a little trouble, nothing crazy. Just some guys I used to know. They said I owed them from way back. I didn't want to bother you. Thought I could handle it quiet." "How much?" He looked away. 40,000. 40,000. I felt the air leave my lungs. "Jamal, you have $2 million. Why didn't you just use your own money?" He rubbed his face hard. "I didn't want to touch the principal. You know? Like, that's the future. Savings. I was trying to protect it." I stared at him. "So you tried to steal from me instead." He winced like I'd hit him. "It wasn't stealing. It was borrowing. I was going to pay it back. Next paycheck. Swear." I stood up, walked to the edge of the patio, looked at the pool water turning gold in the sunset. I wanted to yell. I wanted to cry. But mostly, I felt tired. Deep, bone-tired. "Jamal," I said without turning around, "if you ever do that again, we're done. No more chances." He came up behind me, put a hand on my shoulder. I won't. I promise. Last time. I'm sorry. I nodded. Didn't look at him. We didn't talk about it again that day. But something shifted. The trust, it got thinner, like a rope starting to fray. You can still hold it, but you feel the strands giving way. A few months later, another call. This time from a realtor friend of mine. Hey Marcus, just checking. Your brother put the house on the market? My blood went cold. No, I said slowly. He didn't. Silence on the line. Well, listing went up yesterday, asking $4.2 million, says owner motivated. I drove straight there. Jamal opened the door in sweatpants, looked surprised. Bro, you didn't call. Why is the house for sale? He blinked. Oh, that. Yeah, I was thinking maybe downsize. Too big for one guy. Maintenance is crazy. Pool guy, gardener, all that. Thought I'd get something smaller. Pocket the difference. Invest it smart. I stepped inside. The living room was bare in places. Some furniture gone. Where's the dining table? Sold it. Didn't use it anyway. I walked through the house like I was in someone else's dream. The master bedroom, mattress on the floor, sheets tangled, empty whiskey bottles in the trash. I turned to him. Jamal, are you drinking again? He looked down. Just a little. Social. Not every day.
Don't worry.
I felt something crack inside my chest. How much have you spent? He shrugged. Not much. Just living. Not much? I opened his banking app. He'd given me access in the beginning for emergencies. The balance stared back at me. 1,800,000, gone down to 740,000 in less than 2 years. I sat on the floor right there in the hallway. He sat next to me. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't answer. I just stared at the numbers until they blurred. That was the first time I really saw it, the pattern, the way he'd take a gift and slowly turn it into pressure, into debt, into shame, and I'd keep giving, because he was my brother, because Mom would have wanted me to, because I still heard that little boy crying under the blankets. But that day, something inside me started to close. Not all the way, not yet, but enough that I could feel the cold coming in. I didn't take the house back. Not then. I told him to take it off the market. He did. He said he would. I believed him again, because hope, it's stubborn. It doesn't die easy. But the cracks kept spreading, quietly, like ice on a lake in winter. You don't see them all at once, until one day, the whole thing breaks. And what happened next? That's when it finally shattered. Keep listening, because the real storm was just beginning. If you're still here, thank you. This part was hard to tell. Part 4 is next, where the spending got bigger, the lies got deeper, and I had to face the truth I didn't want to see. Drop a comment if this feels familiar. You're not alone. After that day in the hallway, staring at the bank balance that had already shrunk so much, I tried to reset things. I sat Jamal down in the empty dining room, no table anymore, just 2 folding chairs I brought from my garage. I looked him straight in the eyes. Jamal, we're starting fresh. Right here, right now. He nodded fast. Too fast. I know, I messed up, but I'm ready to fix it. I believed him because I needed to. Because the alternative, giving up on my only brother, felt like burying Mom all over again.
Don't worry.
So I made rules. Clear ones. No more selling furniture without asking. No more friends coming over who I didn't know. Weekly check-ins on the money. Simple screenshots of the account balance. He had to go back to meetings. Every day if possible. And no alcohol in the house. Not one drop. He agreed to everything. For a while, it worked. He started going to meetings again. Came home with chips. 30 days, 60 days, 90 again. He even got a full-time job back at the mechanic shop. Said the owner liked him. Gave him a raise after 3 months. The bank balance held steady around $700,000 for almost 6 months. I started to breathe easier. Lena noticed. You're smiling more when you talk about him, she said one night while we washed dishes. Yeah, I admitted. Maybe this time it's sticking. She touched my arm. Just keep your eyes open, okay? I nodded. But eyes can get tired of watching. And hope, it blinds you sometimes. The next crack came quietly. A phone call from a jewelry store downtown. Mr. Marcus, this is Gold and Gems on 5th. Your brother was in today. Tried to buy a watch on credit. Used your name as reference. We just wanted to verify. My heart sank into my stomach. He's not authorized to use my name, I said slowly. Oh, well, he left without the watch, but he seemed upset. I thanked them, hung up, drove straight over. Jamal was in the kitchen when I walked in, cooking pasta. Smelled good. Normal. Hey bro, he said with a big smile. You hungry? Made enough for two. I didn't smile back. Why were you at Golden Gems today? His smile dropped like someone cut the strings. Oh, that. Yeah, I was just looking. Window shopping. They said you tried to buy a watch, on credit, using my name. He set the spoon down. It wasn't like that. I was gonna pay cash, but the card machine was down or something. Guy misunderstood. Jamal? He looked away. Okay, fine, I wanted the watch. For myself. Thought, I deserved something nice after staying clean so long. You have $700,000. I know. But that's savings. Future money. I didn't want to touch it. I felt the same tiredness come back, deeper this time. So you tried to use my credit instead. Just borrowing the name. I was going to pay it off quick. I walked out of the kitchen, sat on the front steps. The same steps where I'd handed him the keys years earlier. He came out after a few minutes, sat next to me, didn't say anything at first. I'm sorry, he finally whispered. How many times are we going to do this? I asked. My voice sounded old. I don't know, he said. But I'm trying. I really am. I looked at the roses I'd paid to have planted. They were dying now. No one watering them. Try harder, I said quietly. He nodded. We sat in silence until the streetlights came on. After that, the small things started piling up faster. A missed meeting here, a late night there. He'd say he was working overtime, but the paychecks didn't show it. Then came the cars. First one, a used BMW. Black, sleek. He showed up at my house one Saturday driving it. Look what I got, he said, grinning like a kid with a new toy. Where'd you get the money? Traded in the old truck. Added a little from savings. I checked the account later. Another 60,000 gone. I didn't say anything that day, just smiled for him, but inside, the rope was fraying more. Then the second car, a sports car, red, loud. He said it was an investment, said he'd flip it for profit, didn't sell it. Then the third, another luxury SUV, said he needed it for business. What business? He was still changing oil at the shop. The balance dropped to 400,000. Then 3, then 250. I stopped asking for screenshots. It hurt too much to see the numbers fall. Lena started worrying more. Marcus, how much is left? I told her. She closed her eyes for a second. You can't keep funding this. I'm not, I said. It's his money. But it was your gift, your sacrifice. I didn't have an answer. Around the 2.5-year mark, the party started. Not big ones at first. Just a few guys over. Laughter late at night. Music I could hear from the street when I drove by to check on him. I knocked once. He opened the door smiling. Eyes glassy. Hey, come in. Meet the crew. I saw bottles on the counter. Beer. Whiskey. People I didn't know. Jamal. We said no alcohol in the house. He waved it off. Just one night, celebrating. Got a promotion. Did you? He hesitated. Sort of. More hours. I left without going in. Drove home crying. Quiet tears. The kind that don't make noise, but burn. That was when I started to accept it. He wasn't climbing out. He was falling slower, but still falling. Then came the women. Different ones every few weeks. He'd post pictures on social media. Arms around someone new. Smiling, happy. But when I asked about them, she's just a friend. Helping her through a tough time. Temporary. None stayed. But the money kept leaving. Gifts. Dinners. Trips. He took one to Vegas, said it was a conference for work. Came back with nothing but stories and an empty credit card he'd opened in his name. Balance, 180,000. I went to the house unannounced one Tuesday afternoon. Door was unlocked. Inside, chaos. Clothes everywhere. Pizza boxes. Empty bottles. Jamal was asleep on the couch, snoring. I walked through the rooms. Master bedroom. Mattress bare. Sheets gone. Guest rooms empty. The pool. Green, algae floating, the garage, 2 of the cars still there, but the BMW was missing. I woke him up. He sat up slow. Looked confused. Marcus, what time is it? 2 in the afternoon, I said. On a Tuesday. He rubbed his eyes. Yeah, day off. I looked around. Where's everything? He shrugged. Sold some stuff. Needed cash flow. Cash flow for what? Life, man. Things add up. I sat on the coffee table in front of him. Jamal, how much is left? He looked away. Enough. How much? He sighed. About 90,000. 90,000. From 2 million. In less than 3 years. I felt something break inside me. Not loud. Quiet. Final. I stood up. I'm done, I said. He looked up fast. What? I'm done pretending this is working. Marcus, wait. No, you wait. You had everything. A house. Money. A chance no one gets. And you threw it away. Piece by piece. Tears started down his face. I tried. I swear I tried. You tried when it was easy. When it felt good. But when it got hard, you chose the bottle. The parties. The quick highs. You chose everything except yourself. He sobbed. I'm sorry. I'll change. I'll sell the cars. No, I said softly. You won't. Because you never did before. I walked to the door. He grabbed my arm. Please, don't leave me like this. I looked at his hand on my sleeve. I never left you, I said. You left me, over and over. I pulled away gently. I'll pay the property taxes 1 more year. After that, it's yours to figure out. I walked out, closed the door behind me, drove away, without looking back. But the tears, they didn't stop for miles. That should have been the end. But it wasn't, because a few months later, the calls started. First a text. Can we talk? Marcus, I'm in trouble. Just need to borrow a little. I'll pay back. Promise. Then nothing for weeks. Then one night, a knock at my gate. I looked through the camera. Jamal. Thinner. Coat too big again. Eyes hollow. He looked up at the camera. Bro, it's me. I didn't open the gate. Just spoke through the intercom. What do you want, Jamal? He started crying. I lost the house. Foreclosure. They took the cars. I got nothing left. I'm back on the street. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry, I said. Please, just one more chance. I know I messed up, but I'm ready now. For real. I stood there in the dark hallway. Lena came up behind me, put her hand on my back. Amara was asleep upstairs. Safe. Warm. I thought about Mom. Thought about the promises under the blankets. Thought about the boy who used to cry when she cried. Then I thought about me. About the years of giving, hoping, hurting. I pressed the intercom again. No, I said quietly. He sobbed harder. Marcus, please, you're all I got. I know, I whispered, and I turned off the camera, walked upstairs, held my wife, cried into her shoulder, and for the first time in years, I let myself feel the full weight of it. Not just his fall, but mine too. The part where I kept giving, because I thought love meant never saying no. But love, sometimes it means saying no, even when it breaks your heart. Especially then. That was the night the begging began. And it hasn't stopped. But what I did next, that's the part I'm still learning to live with. Keep watching, because the story isn't over. Not yet. If this part felt heavy, it's okay to take a breath. You're not alone in feeling it. Part 5 is next, where I face the final choice. The quiet revenge that wasn't revenge at all. Just truth. And maybe a small door left open. Comment below if you've ever had to say no to someone you love. It's one of the hardest things, but sometimes it's the kindest. After I turned off the camera that night, the silence in the house felt louder than any scream. Lena didn't ask questions. She just held me tighter. We sat on the edge of our bed in the dark. I cried until there was nothing left. Not anger, not even sadness anymore. Just empty. The next morning I woke up early, made coffee, stared out the kitchen window at the backyard where Amara's swing set still stood. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. The calls kept coming. First every few days, then every day, then multiple times a day. Voicemails I didn't listen to right away. Texts that started with "please read this" and ended with "I love you, bro." One night I finally played them. His voice sounded smaller each time. Marcus, I'm sleeping in the car tonight. It's cold. I know I don't deserve it, but can you just send $20 for gas? I'll figure the rest out. Another one hours later. I found a shelter, but they only take women and kids tonight. I'm outside the gate. It's raining. I just need a dry place. One night. Please. I sat on the couch listening, phone in my hand, tears falling onto the screen. Lena came down the stairs in her robe, saw me, didn't say anything, just sat beside me and listened too. When the last message ended, she spoke first. "What are you going to do?" I looked at her, eyes red, voice hoarse. "I don't know." She took my hand. "You don't have to decide tonight, but whatever you choose, we'll carry it together." I nodded. The next day I drove to the old neighborhood, the one where we grew up. The apartment building was still there, paint more faded, windows still rattling. I parked across the street, sat for a long time. I remembered the night Dad left, the way Jamal clung to me, the promise we made. We'll never leave each other. I whispered it out loud in the car. "I'm not leaving you," I said to the empty seat beside me. "I'm just stopping the bleeding." I drove to a small diner we used to go to as kids, ordered 2 coffees, one black, one with too much sugar, the way Jamal liked it. I texted him one line, "Meet me at Dino's Diner, 3 p.m., don't be late." He showed up 20 minutes early, thinner than I'd ever seen him, beard patchy, eyes sunken, but he tried to smile when he saw me. "Bro." I stood up, hugged him. He smelled like smoke and cold and desperation. We sat in the same booth we sat in as teenagers, same cracked vinyl seats. I pushed the coffee toward him. He wrapped his hands around it like it was gold. "Thanks." We didn't speak for a minute, just sat, listened to the hum of the old jukebox in the corner. Finally, I broke the quiet. "I listened to your messages." He looked down. "I'm sorry, I know I sound pathetic." "You don't sound pathetic. You sound like someone who's lost everything." He nodded slowly. "I did. I lost it all. The house, the cars, the money, my pride, everything." I waited. He kept going. If I just had one more thing, one more chance, one more dollar, I'd turn it around. But every time, I found a way to burn it. "Why?" He looked at me then, really looked. "Because I was scared, Marcus. Scared that if I stayed clean, if I built something real, I'd have to face what I did to Mom, to you, to myself." The drinking made the memories quiet. The spending made me feel big for a minute. The women, they made me feel wanted, but none of it lasted. And when it ended, the shame came back twice as loud. I felt tears sting again. "So what now?" I asked. He shrugged. "I don't know. I'm tired, really tired. Not just my body, my soul. I think maybe this is rock bottom." I reached across the table, put my hand over his. "It doesn't have to stay bottom." He looked surprised. "You're still willing to help?" "No," I said gently. "Not the way I used to. But I'm not walking away either." He blinked fast. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm going to help you help yourself. But no more money, no more houses, no more safety nets I pay for." He nodded slowly. "Okay. I'm going to find you a bed in a long-term recovery house. One that requires work, meetings, accountability. I'll pay the first month. After that, you earn your stay. You work, you save, you rebuild." He swallowed hard. "And if I mess it up again, then you'll face the consequences alone, and I'll still love you, but I won't rescue you anymore." Tears ran down his face now. Open, no hiding. "I don't deserve that," he whispered. "Maybe not," I said. "But I deserve peace, and so do you." We sat there another hour. I told him about Amara's school play coming up, how she asked about her uncle sometimes, how Lena still prayed for him every night. He listened like a man hearing stories from another life. When we stood to leave, he hugged me again. Longer this time. "Thank you for not hating me," he said into my shoulder. "I never hated you," I told him. "I just had to stop letting you hurt me to prove you were worth saving." He pulled back, looked me in the eyes. "I'm going to try, Marcus. For real this time. Not for the money, not for the house, for me, and maybe, one day, for you." I nodded. "I'll be watching." I drove him to the recovery house that same afternoon. A plain building on a quiet street. No mansion, no pool, just rules, structure, people who understood. The intake counselor was kind but firm. First 30 days, no phone, no visitors except approved family. You work the program or you leave. Jamal signed the papers with shaking hands. I stood outside while he went in, watched the door close behind him, drove home feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. The first month was quiet. No calls, no texts, just silence. I worried every day, but I didn't chase. Then one evening, a letter arrived. Handwritten. Jamal's messy print. Dear Marcus, day 28 here. I hate it sometimes. The meetings make me cry in front of strangers. The work is boring. Cleaning floors, washing dishes. But I'm doing it. I haven't had a drink in 28 days. I think about the mansion sometimes, the way it felt like a fairy tale. Then I remember how I turned it into a nightmare. I'm sorry. Not just for the money, for the years I stole from you. The hope I kept taking and never gave back. The counselor says real change starts when you stop waiting for someone else to fix you. So I'm stopping. If you never speak to me again, I'll understand. But if you do, I'll be here, trying. Your little brother, Jamal. I read it 3 times, cried each time. I wrote back the next day, short. I'm proud of the 28 days. Keep going. One day at a time. Marcus. No promises, no money, just truth. Months passed. He stayed, completed the program, got a job, janitorial at a hospital, same one Mom used to work at. He said it felt like coming full circle. He rented a small room, shared kitchen, thin mattress, but he paid the rent himself. He started calling once a week, short calls, no asking for anything, just talking about the weather, about a funny thing a coworker said, about how he missed Amara's laugh. One Sunday, I invited him over, first time in years. Lena cooked his favorite, baked chicken, mac and cheese, collards. Amara ran to him at the door, hugged his legs. Uncle Jamal, you came. He knelt down, eyes shining. Yeah, baby girl, I came. We ate together, laughed a little. It wasn't perfect. There were quiet moments, awkward silences, but it was real. After dinner, he helped with dishes, like old times. When it was time to go, he stood at the door. Thank you, he said quietly. For today, for everything. I hugged him. You're doing the work, I told him. That's what matters. He nodded. I'm not asking for more, but if it's okay, I'd like to keep coming when you let me. I smiled, small but real. Doors open, when you're ready. He left. I watched his bus disappear down the street. Lena came up beside me. You okay? I took a deep breath. Yeah, for the first time in a long time, yeah. That was 2 years ago now. Jamal still calls every Sunday. Still works the same job. Still goes to meetings. He has a sponsor he trusts. A small savings account. Nothing big, but it's his. He hasn't asked for money since that diner booth. Not once. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, what if I'd said no forever that night at the gate? Would he have found this path? Or would he still be out there, lost? I don't know. What I do know is this. Love isn't just giving, it's also holding the line when giving starts to destroy both of you. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's remembering and choosing to walk forward anyway. And family, real family, isn't built on mansions or millions. It's built on showing up, even when it's hard, even when it's small, even when all you have left is the truth. Jamal and I, we're not back to where we were as kids. We never will be, but we're somewhere better, somewhere honest, somewhere earned. If you've stayed with me this long, thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Sharing this wasn't easy, but if even one person hears it and thinks twice before giving away their peace, then it was worth it. This was my true story. If it touched you, if it reminded you of someone you love, or maybe even yourself, drop a comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Have you ever had to say no to save a relationship, or say yes and regret it? You're not alone either way. And if you're still here, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more stories like this, real ones, the kind that hurt but heal too. Thank you for listening. And Jamal, if you ever see this, I'm proud of you, little brother. Keep going, one day at a time. This is the final main part, but if you'd like an epilogue, a short closing reflection, maybe 1,000 to 1,500 words, just say the word, or let me know what you'd like next. Thank you for walking this road with me. It's been almost 4 years since that afternoon in a diner booth. 4 years since I looked across the table at my brother and said the words that felt like both goodbye and hello at the same time. No more money, no more houses, but I'm not walking away. I still remember how his shoulders dropped when I said it. Not in defeat, in something closer to relief. Like he'd been carrying a weight so heavy for so long that even the idea of putting it down scared him, but he was ready. I didn't know then if he would make it. I didn't know if the recovery house would stick, if the meetings would become routine instead of punishment, if the small room with the shared kitchen would feel like enough after living in a mansion with 2 ovens and a pool that turned green from neglect. But he stayed, day after day, month after month, year after year. He didn't call every day anymore. He didn't need to. The weekly Sunday calls became enough. Short, honest, no drama. Just 2 brothers checking in. How's the job, I'd ask. Same old. Mopped the 3rd floor twice today. Lady in room 312 gave me an extra tip. Said I remind her of her son. I'd smile into the phone. Tell her thanks for looking out for my little brother. He'd laugh. Quiet, real laughter. The kind I hadn't heard in decades. Sometimes he'd talk about the hard days. Wanted to drink last Thursday bad. Walked past the liquor store 3 times. Kept going. Called my sponsor instead. Sat on the curb talking for an hour until the craving passed. I never interrupted those stories. I just listened. Because hearing him say I kept going felt like medicine after so many years of I gave up. Amara started asking more questions about him. Why doesn't Uncle Jamal live with us? I thought carefully before answering. Because he needed to learn how to take care of himself first. And he's doing really good at it now. She nodded, like she understood. Kids sometimes understand more than we give them credit for. One Christmas, his 3rd sober one, he came over early. Brought a small gift for Amara. A simple wooden puzzle box he'd made himself in a community workshop.
This is the life,
Nothing
isn't
expensive,
it?
just time and care.
Absolutely.
She opened it
You
and
can't
gasped.
beat this.
It's like magic.
So
He knelt
good.
down to her level. Sometimes the best things
This
aren't
is
big
the
or shiny,
life,
he told
isn't
her.
it?
They just take patience.
Absolutely.
I watched
You
from the
can't beat
kitchen
this.
doorway. Lena squeezed my
So
hand.
good.
He's different, she whispered. Yeah, I
This
said.
is the
He
life,
is.
isn't it?
Dinner that night was loud in the best way.
Absolutely.
Amara
You
told
can't
stories
beat
from school.
this.
Jamal listened like
So
every word
good.
mattered. He asked questions, real ones, not just polite ones. After we ate, he helped clear the table, washed dishes beside me at the sink, same way we used to do when Mom was too tired after her shift. You remember when we used to fight over who dried? He asked. I chuckled. Yeah, you always lost because your hands were too small. He smiled. Still are. We stood there drying plates in comfortable silence. When it was time for him to leave, he hugged everyone. Long hugs, the kind that say more than words. At the door, he turned to me. Thanks for today. Means a lot. I nodded. Anytime you're ready, doors open. He looked at me for a long moment. I know, and I'm trying to be ready. Not just for visits, for being someone you can count on too. I swallowed hard. You already are. He left. I closed the door softly, stood there a minute feeling something settle inside me, something that had been restless for years. Peace. Not perfect peace, not the kind where everything is fixed and forgotten, but the kind where the past stops bleeding into every day. The house he lost, the mansion, sold at auction last year. I drove by once. New owners had painted the columns a soft gray, planted new roses. The pool sparkled again. I didn't feel angry, didn't feel regret. Just acceptance. That house was never the answer. It was a mirror. And sometimes mirrors show us things we're not ready to see. Jamal lives in a small 1-bedroom apartment now. Nothing fancy. Rent he pays on the 1st of every month. He has a couch, a TV, a shelf with a few books. Mostly recovery ones, but a couple novels too.
This is the
He started
life,
volunteering
isn't it?
at the shelter he used to sleep outside of.
Absolutely.
Serves
You
meals on
can't beat
Saturdays.
this.
Talks to the new guys who come
So
in looking
good.
lost. They remind me of me, he told me
This
once.
is the life,
I just want them
isn't
to
it?
know someone made it out, even if it took a long
Absolutely.
time.
You can't beat
I went with him
this.
one Saturday, stood in the
So
back while he
good.
handed out trays, watched him smile at people the way Mom used to smile at patients, gentle,
All
no
quiet
judgment.
tonight.
One man, older, gray-beard, grabbed his hand. You look familiar. Jamal shrugged. Been around a while. The man squinted. You the guy who used
All
to sleep by the
quiet
bridge?
tonight.
The one who always shared his blanket? Jamal's eyes got shiny. Yeah, that was me. The man nodded slow. You look good now, real good. Jamal
All
smiled,
quiet tonight.
trying to. I stood there watching my brother, my little brother, give back in the same place he once had nothing. And for the first time, I felt proud without a knot in my stomach, proud without worry following right behind. Last month he hit 5 years sober. He didn't make a big announcement. No party, no social media post. Just called me on a Tuesday evening. 5 years today, he said simply. I sat down on the couch. 5 years. Yeah. Silence for a second. Comfortable silence. I couldn't have done it without you saying no when you did. I closed my eyes. I know it hurt you. It did, but it saved me too. Another pause. I love you, Marcus. My throat tightened. Love you too, Jamal. We hung up. I sat there a long time, thinking about the boy under the blankets, the promises we made, the father who left, the mother who worked until she couldn't, the years of giving and losing and hoping and hurting. And now, this. Not a mansion, not $2 million, just two brothers on the phone, saying I love you, and meaning it. Sometimes I still wonder what would have happened if I'd kept giving, if I'd bought him another house, another chance. Would he have kept falling, or would the weight have crushed him slower? I don't know. What I do know is this: generosity without boundaries isn't love, it's enabling. Love sometimes looks like open hands, and sometimes like closed gates. Forgiveness doesn't mean trust comes back overnight. It means you stop punishing yourself for hoping. And family, real family, survives the truth. Even when the truth is ugly. Even when it costs everything for a while. Jamal and I talk about Mom sometimes. How she'd be proud. Not of the money we didn't keep, but of the men we're trying to become. I think she'd smile at that. Amara calls him Uncle Jamal without hesitation now. Asks him to help with her homework over video sometimes. He does, patiently, like he had all the time in the world. Lena says he's part of our family again, not in the big, loud way, in the quiet, steady way that lasts. And me, I sleep better now, not every night, but most. The guilt doesn't wake me at 3 a.m. anymore. The what-ifs don't circle like vultures. Instead, I think about small things. A wooden puzzle box, a clean plate dried side by side, a 5-year chip in someone's pocket. Small things that mean more than mansions ever could. If there's a lesson in all this, it's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just this. You can love someone with your whole heart and still protect your own. You can give everything once and learn that sometimes the greatest gift is teaching someone how to stand on their own. You can lose a brother for a while and find him again. Not perfect, not rich, not fixed, but trying, really trying. And that's enough. More than enough. So if you're out there listening and you've loved someone who kept falling, who kept taking, who kept promising, know this: it's okay to stop. It's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your peace. Because sometimes that's the only way they learn to protect theirs. And if they do, if they rise, even just a little, you'll know it was worth every hard day. You'll still have your heart intact enough to keep loving from a distance. Either way, you didn't fail. You just chose life, for both of you. This was my story, our story, the one I never thought I'd tell, but I'm glad I did. Jamal, if you ever hear this, thank you for fighting. Thank you for staying. Thank you for becoming someone I can be proud of again. And to everyone who stayed with me through all 6 parts, through the hurt, the hope, the quiet moments, thank you. You made this story feel less lonely. If it meant something to you, if it reminded you of your own battles, drop a comment, share your thoughts, share your own small victories, like if it touched you, share if someone needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more real stories, the kind that don't always end with fireworks, but end with truth, and maybe a little light. One day at a time, we keep going. This closes the full arc. If you'd like any revisions, a bonus reflection, or another story in the same style, just let me know. Thank you for trusting me with this one. It's been an honor to write it for you. A few months after that 5-year phone call, something new started happening. Jamal began sending letters. Not texts, not quick voice notes, real letters. Handwritten on plain white paper he bought from the corner store. Envelopes with my name in his careful, slightly slanted handwriting. Sometimes a small coffee stain in the corner from where he set his mug too close. The first one arrived on a rainy Tuesday, I opened it at the kitchen table while Amara did homework across from me. Dear Marcus, rainy days still make me think of Mom. Remember how she'd make us hot chocolate and we'd sit by the window watching water run down the glass? I miss that, not the rain, the feeling of being safe inside with people who cared. Today was day 1826 sober. I count them quietly now, not for applause, just to remind myself I can keep choosing. Work is steady, same hospital, same floors, but last week a new patient came in. Young guy, early 20s, detoxing hard. He was scared, kept asking if it ever gets better. I didn't know what to say at first. Then I told him about the mansion I lost, about the brother who gave it to me anyway, about how saying no was the hardest kindness he ever showed. The kid cried. I sat with him until he fell asleep. Didn't fix anything, just stayed. I think that's what I'm learning now. Staying, not running to the next high, not hiding from the low, just staying. I don't expect you to reply to every letter. I just wanted you to know I'm still here, still trying.
All quiet
Your brother,
tonight.
Jamal. I read it twice, folded it carefully, put it in the wooden box on my dresser, the one that used to hold Mom's old jewelry. I didn't write back right away. I let the words sit with me for a few days. Then one evening I sat down with a cup of tea and a blank sheet. Dear Jamal, rainy days get me too. I still make hot chocolate for Amara on those nights. She asks about you more now. Says you're her favorite uncle because you listen like you mean it. 1826 days is a long road. I'm proud of every step. Keep staying. Marcus. Short, simple, but it felt right. After that, the letters became a rhythm. Not every week, not forced, just when one of us had something worth putting on paper. His next one came around the holidays. Dear Marcus, Christmas lights are up on the street outside my window. They're the cheap kind, flicker too fast, but they still make the room feel warmer. I volunteered at the shelter again this year, served turkey dinner to about 100 people. One woman came through the line twice, looked familiar. Turned out she was in my old middle school class. She recognized me first. Jamal, that you? I nodded. She smiled sad. Life's funny, huh? I said, yeah, but sometimes it gives second plates. We laughed. Small laugh, but real. I thought about you the whole night, about how you gave me more than second plates. Even when I kept knocking it over, I don't say thank you enough. So here it is again. Thank you, Jamal. I cried reading that one. Quiet tears, the kind that clean something inside. Lena found me at the table, read it over my shoulder, then hugged me from behind. He's writing his way back, she said softly. Yeah, I whispered. He is. I wrote him about Amara's science fair project. How she built a model of the solar system out of styrofoam balls and paint. How proud she was when it won third place. He wrote back about how he started taking night classes, basic accounting, nothing big, just something to build toward. Dear Marcus, passed the first exam, got an 88. Teacher said I have a good head for numbers. Never heard that before. Thinking maybe one day I could help with the books at the shelter. They need someone reliable. I want to be that someone. Still miss the big house sometimes. Not the space. The quiet mornings when I'd sit on the patio with coffee and feel like maybe I deserved it. But I don't miss the lie. The one where I pretended everything was fine while everything was falling apart. This small apartment. It's honest. The rent's due on the 1st. I pay it. That feels better than any mansion ever did. Jamal. I kept every letter. They filled half the box now. Some were short, just a line or two. Thought of Mom today. She'd like the new curtains I hung. Others longer. Stories about people he met. Days that were hard. Nights he almost slipped but didn't. One came after a rough patch. Dear Marcus, slipped last month, not a full drink, just a beer at a coworker's barbecue. Tasted like regret the second it hit my tongue. I poured the rest out, called my sponsor, went to a meeting that night, told the room what happened. They didn't judge, just said, welcome back. Keep coming. I felt ashamed, still do a little, but I didn't hide it from you. That's new for me. I'm back on day 1, again, but I'm still here. Jamal. That letter hurt to read, but it also healed something, because he told me, no excuses, no disappearing, just truth. I wrote back the same night, Dear Jamal, day 1 is still a day, and you chose it. I'm not disappointed. I'm grateful you told me. We all slip sometimes. What matters is you got up. Keep getting up. I'll be here when you do. Marcus. After that letter, the tone changed a little. He started including small things. A pressed leaf from a park he walked through. A photo of the sunset from his window. A ticket stub from a free community concert he went to alone. He was living, not just surviving. Last week another letter arrived. Dear Marcus, 7 years sober next month. Can't believe it. I got promoted. Not big money, but I'm in charge of the evening cleaning crew now. 3 people report to me. They trust me. That feels strange. Good strange. Amara sent me a drawing in the mail last month. A stick figure family under a big sun. She labeled them Mommy, Daddy, me, Uncle Jamal. I keep it on my fridge. I look at it every morning. It reminds me why I keep choosing this road. I don't know if we'll ever be close the way we were as kids. Too much water under the bridge. But maybe we can be something new, something better. Who don't take each other for granted. If that's okay with you, I'd like to keep writing, and maybe one day keep visiting more. No pressure, just hope. Your little brother always, Jamal. I sat with that letter for a long time. Then I went to the box, took out the first one he ever sent, read them both side by side. The boy who lost everything, and the man who found something worth keeping. I wrote back the next morning, Dear Jamal, 7 years is a mountain. You climbed it. The drawing's on our fridge too. Yes, keep writing, keep visiting. No pressure, just family. We're building something new, and it's already better. Marcus. These letters, they're not loud victories. No mansions, no millions returned. No dramatic reunions with tears and music swelling. Just paper, ink, truth. Small truths carried across town in envelopes. Small truths that rebuilt a bridge one sheet at a time. I don't know what the next letter will say. I don't need to. Because whatever comes, we'll meet it together. Not as savior and saved. Not as giver and taker. Just as brothers. 2 men who remember the promises under the blankets. Who broke them. Who hurt each other. Who forgave. And who kept showing up. That's the real ending. Not perfect. Not finished. Just continuing. One honest letter at a time. If you've walked this far with me, through the pain, the hope, the quiet rebuilding, thank you. These stories aren't just mine anymore. They're ours. If Jamal's journey touched you, if you've ever had to rebuild something broken, share it in the comments. Your words matter. Like if this gave you a little light. Share if someone needs to read about second chances. Subscribe if you want more real-life stories, the ones that don't tie up neatly, but keep unfolding. And Jamal, if you're listening, thank you for the letters. Thank you for the fight. Keep writing. I'll keep reading. Always. This feels like the gentle close I wanted to give it. A soft landing after all the weight. If you'd like one more part, maybe a final reflection from today's perspective, or a Where Are They Now update, or if you want to start a new story, just tell me. It's funny how life doesn't give you neat endings. No big reunion scene, no swelling music, no one running toward each other in slow motion. Just ordinary days that slowly become something better. About 6 months after the last letter I shared with you, Jamal asked if we could meet. Not at the diner this time. Not at my house. Somewhere neutral. Somewhere quiet. He suggested the small park near the hospital where he works. There's a bench under an old oak tree. Mom used to take us there on her rare days off. We'd sit and eat sandwiches she wrapped in wax paper. She'd point at the clouds and make up stories about them. I agreed. I arrived first, sat on the bench, watched leaves drift down in the late afternoon light. He came walking up the path a few minutes later, still thin, but not hollow anymore. Clean shirt, hair cut short and neat, a small paper bag in his hand. He smiled when he saw me. Hey, bro. Hey. He sat beside me, not too close, not too far. We didn't speak right away, just watched a couple of kids chase each other across the grass, listened to the wind move through the branches. Finally, he broke the quiet. Thanks for coming. I nodded. Wouldn't miss it. He set the paper bag between us, brought something, nothing fancy. I looked inside. 2 sandwiches wrapped in wax paper. Ham and cheese, the way Mom used to make them. My throat tightened. He saw my face. Thought we could eat like old times. No mansions, no millions, just this. I took one, unwrapped it slowly, We ate in silence for a while. The bread was soft, the cheese sharp, tasted like memory. After a few bites, he spoke again. I've been thinking a lot about what happened. All of it. The giving, the taking, the way I kept breaking what you tried to build. I listened. I used to tell myself it wasn't my fault, that life was hard, that Dad left us broken, that Mom dying left a hole nothing could fill. And maybe some of that's true. But the rest, the part where I chose the bottle over the meetings, chose the quick high over the slow work, chose asking you for more instead of asking myself to do better, that was on me. He looked down at the sandwich in his hands. I'm not saying sorry again. I've said it too many times, and words get cheap after a while. I'm just owning it, out loud to you. I swallowed the bite I was chewing. I hear you. He nodded. And I want you to know, I don't expect anything back. Not forgiveness on demand. Not money. Not even visits every week. I just needed to say it. Needed you to see the man sitting here now isn't the same one who stood on your gate crying for help. I looked at him then. Really looked. His eyes were clear, steady. The same eyes I used to check on when we were kids, making sure he wasn't too scared of the thunder. You're right, I said quietly. You're not the same. He gave a small, crooked smile. Still got a long way to go. Still get cravings some nights. Still wake up sometimes, thinking about that big house and how easy it would be to fall back into pretending everything's fine. But I don't. I call someone. I walk. I write it down. I keep going. I set my sandwich down. Jamal, I'm proud of you. Not because you're perfect, because you're choosing. Every day. And that's harder than any mansion I could ever buy. He blinked fast, looked away for a second. When he looked back, tears were there, but he didn't hide them. I love you, Marcus. Always did, even when I was too messed up to show it right. I felt my own eyes burn. Love you too. Always will. We sat there another half hour. Didn't say much more. Just finished the sandwiches. Watched the sun drop lower. Listened to the park empty out slowly. When it was time to go, he stood first. I'll keep writing, if that's still okay. It's more than okay. He hugged me then. Brief. Tight. The way brothers hug when words aren't enough anymore. He walked away down the path. Didn't look back. I watched until he turned the corner. Then I sat back down on the bench alone, picked up the wax paper, folded it carefully, put it in my pocket, drove home with the windows down, wind in my face, feeling something settle deep in my chest. Not closure. Not exactly. More like continuation. A story that doesn't end with fireworks or tears or grand declarations. Just two men on a bench, eating sandwiches, owning what was, choosing what comes next. That's how it goes sometimes. Not dramatic, not loud, just real. And real is enough. If you stayed through all 8 parts, through the giving, the losing, the hurting, the hoping, the rebuilding, thank you. You didn't just listen, you walked with us. This story isn't about a mansion or $2 million. It's about what happens when love has to change shape to survive. When saying no becomes the bravest yes. When forgiveness isn't a one-time event, but a quiet daily practice. If any part of it echoed in your own life, if you've ever had to love someone from a careful distance, or learn to love yourself enough to stop the bleeding, know you're not alone. Drop a comment if you want. Share what stayed with you. Or just sit with it quietly. Either way, it's okay. Like if this helped even a little. Share if someone you care about needs to hear it. Subscribe if these kinds of honest stories matter to you. And Jamal, wherever you are right now, thank you for letting me tell our truth. Keep choosing. I'll keep being here. One ordinary day at a time. We made it this far, and we're still going. That's the real miracle. Just truth and a little light left on. If you'd like a short bonus reflection from today, 2026 perspective, a different ending tone, or to begin a brand new story, tell me. I'm ready whenever you are. From the other side, it's Jamal. Deeper, rougher around the edges, but steady and calm. A little gravel from years of hard nights, softened by sobriety. Speak like a man who's finally comfortable in his own skin, sitting across from you at a small table in a quiet cafe, sharing the other half of the story. Slow, thoughtful, no rush. Gentle pauses after honest admissions, a soft, wry smile in the tone when he remembers the old days, warmth when he talks about Marcus, quiet strength throughout, no self-pity, just clear-eyed truth. Hey, it's me, Jamal. If you've been listening this whole time, you've heard my brother tell it from his side. The giving, the hoping, the heartbreak when I kept taking pieces of him and calling it love. Now it's my turn. I'm not here to defend anything I did. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm just here to finish the story from the chair on the other side of the table. When Marcus handed me those keys 4 years ago, standing on those white steps with the roses behind me, I felt something I hadn't felt since I was a kid. Hope. Real, sharp hope. Like maybe the universe had finally decided to give me a break. I walked through that big empty house the first night alone, turned on every light, stood in the kitchen staring at the 2 ovens like they were miracles, laughed out loud because it felt ridiculous. Me, the guy who'd slept under bridges with a cardboard sign. Now I had a house with 2 ovens. I told myself I'd do it right this time. I really believed I would. But belief, it's not enough when the inside of you is still cracked. The first time I bought a bottle, I told myself it was just one. Celebrating, 1 drink to mark the new start. 1 became 2, 2 became a habit. The habit became a hole I kept trying to fill with more things. Cars, watches, parties, women who looked at me like I was somebody. Every time I spent, I felt bigger for a minute, then smaller than ever when the high wore off. I knew Marcus was watching the numbers drop. I could feel his worry through the phone, even when he didn't say it. But shame makes you hide. So I hid. I lied. I told myself he'd understand if I just got one more chance. Until the day he walked in and saw the empty rooms, the green pool, the balance that had gone from 2 million to almost nothing. When he said, "I'm done," it wasn't anger in his voice. It was exhaustion. The kind that comes when someone has given everything and still sees you choosing the wrong door. That night I sat on the floor of that big empty living room. No furniture left to sit on. Just me and the echo. I cried until my chest hurt. Not because I lost the house, because I finally saw what I'd done to the only person who never stopped trying. I lost the house a few months later. Foreclosure notice taped to the front door, like a final goodbye. I packed what little was left in trash bags, walked out without looking back, slept in the car for a while. Then, back to shelters, back to corners, back to the life I thought I'd escaped. Every time I thought about calling Marcus, shame stopped me. Until the night it was so cold, I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. I stood at his gate crying like a child, begging through the intercom. When he said no, it broke something, but it also cracked open something else. For the first time, I couldn't run to him to fix it. I had to face the mirror alone. The recovery house was hard. Rules, chores, meetings where people told the truth, and you had to listen. I hated it at first, wanted to leave every day. But I stayed, because leaving meant going back to the street, and the street meant dying slow. Day by day, the fog lifted a little. I got the janitor job at the hospital. Same one Mom used to clean. Every time I mopped those halls, I thought of her. How she never complained. How she kept showing up, even when her body hurt. I started writing the letters because talking on the phone felt too big sometimes. Too much risk of saying the wrong thing. Paper let me think. Let me be honest without seeing his face change. Every envelope I mailed felt like sending a small piece of myself, hoping he'd open it, hoping he wouldn't throw it away. When he wrote back, even just a few lines, it was like someone leaving the light on. 5 years sober came quiet. No party. Just me and a cup of coffee on my tiny balcony, looking at the city lights, thinking how far I'd come from sleeping under them. Then the park bench day. Sitting there with Marcus, eating Mom's sandwiches, saying the things I'd rehearsed in my head for months. I didn't expect him to hug me back, but he did. And when he said, "You're not the same," I believed him, because I could feel it too. Today, I'm 7 years and change sober, still mopping floors, still going to meetings, still paying rent on the first. I have a little savings now. Not much. Enough for emergencies. Enough to feel like I'm not one bad day from the street. I see Amara sometimes. She calls me Uncle Jamal without hesitation. Last time she asked me to help her build a birdhouse for a school project. We spent an afternoon in Marcus's garage, hammering nails, laughing when I hit my thumb, She hugged me goodbye, tight, like I belonged. That hug, it meant more than any mansion ever could. Marcus and I still write letters, not as often now, but when we do, they matter. We talk on the phone sometimes too. Short calls, no pressure. He doesn't ask if I'm okay every time. He just assumes I'm trying. And I am. I don't know if we'll ever live close again. Don't know if I'll ever have a big life or a fancy one. But I have this. A clean day, a job I show up for. A brother who still answers when I call. A niece who knows my name. A mother in heaven who, I hope, sees me trying. That's enough. More than I thought I'd ever get again. If you're listening to this, and you're the one who keeps falling, who keeps hurting the people who love you most, hear me. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's just the place where the lying stops. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to choose one honest thing today, then another tomorrow. And if someone says no to you, if they close the gate, it might be the kindest thing they ever do. Because sometimes love has to hurt to heal. Marcus hurt me by saying no, and that hurt saved my life. So thank you, big brother, for the mansion I didn't deserve, for the money I lost, for the chances I wasted, and most of all, for the no that finally woke me up. I'm still walking this road, one day at a time, and I'm not walking it alone anymore. If you've heard both sides now, Marcus's and mine, thank you for staying. This isn't a fairy tale. It's just two brothers who broke each other's hearts, and then slowly, carefully, started mending them again. Not perfect, not finished, just real. If any part of this feels familiar, if you're carrying shame, or if you're the one who had to say no, know that healing doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like letters in the mail, sandwiches on a park bench, a quiet phone call on Sunday. Sometimes it just looks like showing up and staying, one honest day at a time. Marcus, thank you for letting me speak, for giving me this space. I love you, always have, always will. And to everyone listening, thank you for hearing us both. Keep going. We're still here, still trying. It's January 28, 2026. Outside my window, the Karachi evening is settling in, horns in the distance, the call to prayer echoing softly, streetlights flickering on one by one. Inside the house, it's quiet. Amara is upstairs doing her homework. Lena is in the kitchen humming while she makes tea. And I'm sitting here, thinking about how far we've come since I first told this story. 8 years since I handed Jamal those keys. 6 years since I said no at the gate. 7 years and change since he started counting sober days again. I don't count them for him anymore. He does that himself now. Last week he turned 48. We didn't throw a big party, just dinner at our place. Nothing fancy, biryani, raita, some fresh naan from the bakery down the street. Amara made him a card. She's 12 now, tall, curious, full of questions. She drew a picture on the front, 2 stick figures sitting on a bench under a tree, labeled them Uncle Jamal and Baba. When he opened it, his eyes got shiny. He didn't try to hide it, just hugged her and said, "This is the best gift I've ever gotten." We sat around the table for hours, talked about small things. School, work, the price of petrol going up again, the way the winter fog makes everything feel softer. No one brought up the past. We didn't need to. It's there, but it doesn't sit at the table with us anymore. Jamal still works at the hospital. He's the supervisor of the night cleaning crew now. Been in that role for almost 2 years. He likes the quiet hours. Says it gives him time to think, to pray, to feel grateful. He moved to a slightly bigger apartment last summer. 1 bedroom still, but with a little balcony. He grows mint and coriander in pots out there. Says it reminds him of Mom's tiny kitchen garden when we were kids. We see each other every couple of weeks now. Sometimes he comes over for dinner. Sometimes we meet at the same park bench, though we don't always bring sandwiches anymore. Just coffee from the stall near the gate. We sit, watch people walk by, talk about whatever comes up. Last time we met, he told me he's thinking about sponsoring someone new at his meetings. A young guy who reminds him of himself at that age. Angry, scared, convinced the world owes him something. I told him my story, Jamal said quietly. Not the mansion part. The part where I lost everything and had to decide if I wanted to keep losing or start winning small. I asked him how it felt. He looked at the ground for a second, then back at me. Feels like paying rent on the life you gave me back. I didn't have words for that right away. Just nodded. We sat in silence after that. the good kind. Amara still asks about him sometimes. Why did Uncle Jamal used to be gone so much? I tell her the simple version. He was sick for a long time, in his heart and his body. But he's better now because he worked really hard to get well. She accepts that. Kids understand healing when you don't dress it up too much. Lena and I talk about it too, late at night when the house is quiet. She says the biggest change she sees isn't in Jamal, it's in me. You don't carry the worry the same way, she told me once. You love him, but you don't own his choices anymore. She's right. I still feel the old ache sometimes, when I remember the nights I cried in the car after seeing him on the street, when I think about the money that vanished, the house that's someone else's now. But the ache doesn't own me. It's just a memory, a scar that's faded to silver. What's left is gratitude. Gratitude that I said no when every part of me wanted to say yes. Gratitude that he heard the no and let it change him instead of breaking him. Gratitude for the small, steady life he's building. One rent payment, one meeting, one honest letter at a time. Last Sunday, he called like always. We talked for 20 minutes. He told me about a patient who thanked him for cleaning her room so quietly at night. Said it helped her sleep. She called me Beta, he said with a small laugh. Felt weird, but good. I told him Amara got an A in her science project. He asked me to send a picture. When we hung up, I sat there smiling at the phone. Simple things, they're the strongest ones. So where do we stand now in 2026? We stand on solid ground. Not perfect ground, not rich ground, not dramatic ground, just honest ground. Two brothers who hurt each other deeply, who learned, slowly, painfully, how to stop the hurting and start the mending. We don't talk about forgiveness like it's a finished thing. We live it, in phone calls, in visits, in the way we don't keep score anymore. If there's one thing I want you to carry from this whole long story, it's this. Love doesn't always look like endless giving. Sometimes it looks like a closed gate, a firm no, a long silence, and then if the work is done, an open door again. Not wide open, not without boundaries, but open enough for truth to walk through. And when it does, when someone chooses to walk through that door sober, steady, and grateful, it feels like coming home. Not to a mansion, not to $2 million, to something better, to family, the kind that survives the worst of us and still chooses to sit on a park bench together, eating simple food, watching the sun go down, knowing tomorrow is another day to keep trying. Long, peaceful pause, voice softens to a near whisper. Thank you for staying with us until the very end, through every part, every crack, every quiet repair. This was never just our story. It's yours too, if you've ever loved someone enough to let them fall, or fallen yourself and had to climb back up alone. Wherever you are right now, whatever part of the road you're on, know this. The story doesn't have to end in ruin. It can end in ordinary mornings, in phone calls that don't ask for anything, in sandwiches shared on a bench, in the simple miracle of showing up, again, one real day at a time. Jamal, if you ever hear this, I'm proud of the man you chose to become. Thank you for fighting when it would have been easier to quit. And to every listener who walked this long path with us, thank you, from both of us. If this story stayed with you, if it helped you see your own life a little clearer, drop a comment, share what it stirred in you, or just sit with it quietly. We'll understand either way. Like if it brought you some peace. Share if someone needs to hear that second chances are real, but they're earned. Subscribe if these honest human stories matter to you. We'll keep telling them, because life, real life, is worth sharing. This is where we stand, not at the end, just here, still walking, and that's enough. More than enough. This is the true close, from today, right now, looking back with clear eyes and an open heart.